I think that's really all we need to know about terminology. Hopefully we're all on the same page with stuff. We're going to talk supplies next so that you know what you need to kind of get into this particular hobby. Hey, what did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies! All right, to talk supplies, we need to go down to the table so I can show you my box. Not that kind of box. Don't make it weird. Besides, I'm not a girl with a box. I'm a girl with a dick. This box has everything in it that we will need to craft this project. And then, wait. Now this box has everything in it that we will need to craft this project. Supplies are, to continue terminology, supplies are everything that we will use in the crafting process. And supplies come in two forms, materials and tools. Materials are the things that you make the craft out of. Primarily we're using cardboard. Whereas tools are the things that you use to construct it with. So let's go over tools first. At the most basic, you're definitely going to need some scissors. These are just bog standard scissors. Some people like to use kitchen scissors, which are a lot more robust. But I've only got one pair of kitchen scissors kicking around the house, so I'm just going to, but I've got a bunch of these, so I'm just going to use regular scissors. We'll also need a ruler, preferably a metal ruler, but I think you can get by with a wood ruler just as well. This is something that I already had kicking around. It's very warped. I don't know where I got it. I've had this thing forever, but it does the trick. I didn't want to buy anything more than I absolutely had to because I'm a broke bitch. The materials that we're going to be using primarily is going to be cardboard. I think I said that already. Primarily going to be cardboard. We're also going to use paint, and I have some wash. I have plans for everything in this box. So that's this paint. We're going to be doing base coat. Some people like to prime or base coat with a mixture of PVC and paint, but I'm not made of money, so I just got some spray paint, just black primer spray paint. I use the gray stuff of this for miniatures. Nope, that's my sealant. This stuff is what I use for miniatures. I have found, or I have seen a lot about how a black base coat works a lot better for scenery. I'm not sure why, but it does. So I got black spray paint. The other supplies I have in here, I also have some sand and some pebbles. I just picked these up out of an abandoned lot nearby. Sand and pebbles are completely free. I'll get the cost in a second. Let me take stuff out of the box. Let's see what's going on. For tools, primarily we're going to need to be able to cut things and stick things. So this is a craft knife I already had kicking around, so I tried to use it first, and let me show you the difference in cuts. So this ragged ass cut that doesn't even go all the way through the material is this knife. When I got super dissatisfied with that, I bought this nicer craft knife, and I got this cut, nice and smooth, just a couple of passes. It worked great. Let me talk about cost real quick. This is a $3 craft knife. This is an $8 craft knife. This can go back into, and this had a fresh blade. So this can go back into my tool bag, and I can use it for breaking down boxes. The hell did I put my scissors? Oh, right here. I only bother to use the box cutter when I'm working with double corrugated. I've seen people online use scissors for double corrugated, but while I was testing it out, I found that scissors like this just kind of mangled it up a lot. So I like the box cutter. When it comes to single corrugated or cardstock, these are just as good, much cheaper, and I think a lot easier to work with as far as maintaining measurements rather than trying to slice with a hobby knife. Sticking things. This is a PVA glue, which is just a white glue. This apparently is one of the nicer crafting PVA glues. I don't know what PVA stands for. I didn't look that one up, but I did look up acrylic paint, whatever. This is one of the nicer PVA glues that people like to use when they craft. I thought I was going to have to spend a little bit more money on some of this, as well as some cheaper PVA glue, like some Elmer's Glue All or something. But it turns out when I was looking, as far as PVA glue is concerned, this stuff is by volume cheaper than every other PVA glue I found, with the exception of Gorilla Wood Glue, but then only if I buy it by the gallon. So this has come in incredibly handy. I used it when crafting this box, which I'll get into the crafting of this box in just a minute. PVA's glue is great, but it takes forever to dry. So if you need something to dry very quickly, then you go with hot glue, which this is my hot glue gun. It's just a little mini, and then my glue sticks. When it comes to painting, of course, I have all these craft paints, and I got this giant collection of brushes. It was 126 brushes. So talk cost real quick. These are just some offcuts. I've got some wire snips, some snips down here that these don't go in this box. I don't know why they're in there. I use those for separating models from sprues. So everything in this box cost about $50. You do not need to spend that much money to start. I'm going to do an episode, not the next episode, but the episode after, where I'm going to tell you all about how to get into doing this for as cheap as possible, and then some kind of levels in between. So, oh, and this was a marker that I got, just a cheap ass marker. You could go with a more expensive marker, but I didn't want to spend money. I wanted to use cheap supplies. My only complaint about this marker is it smells really bad. Yeah, so this box cost me $50. The only reason, if I include the stuff I already had, which was the scissors and the ruler. The only reason I have this many paints is because I was trying to get my order up over $35 so that I could get free shipping. But then I went and ordered spray paint and a box cutter anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The craft paints are insanely cheap. These were 65 cents each for the regular ones. I don't remember how much the black one cost me because this is something that I also already had. But then I got metallics, some metallics. These were $1.25 each, buy two, get one free at Joann Fabric. Everything else I got on Amazon. So this box was the very first thing that I crafted just to kind of get a feel for working with the materials. And let me pull it back so you can see it. It's just the box that most of the stuff came in, but I made it, I reinforced everything because I knew I was going to have a lot of stuff that weighed quite a bit in here. So I chopped off the flaps, I resized them, and then I glued them to the inside. And then the corners here, I took some other, to reinforce the corners, I just took some other cardboard, cut it, scored it, glued it on. The bottom was a larger piece of cardboard that I had that I just cut to shape. I slid down in there. I didn't bother to glue that part because it fit, and I figured everything inside it was going to hold it in place anyway. And then these dividers I just cut to fit. The entire thing was assembled with PVA, with this PVA, with the exception of these interior dividers. The dividers, which you can see, it's so gummy. The dividers were installed using hot glue because the PVA wasn't drying fast enough, because boxes, they bow out in the center quite a bit, so it wasn't holding together long enough for the glue to adhere. I also have, that's just some offcuts. I also have a bag of pennies, which I'll get to what my plans are for all of this stuff in the next episode. I don't know if I said this already, but I won't get to what I'm going to be doing with the with the sand and gravel. That's for a different project that we may or may not get to. If this particular project goes well, we will move on to another project, and that's my plan for this stuff. After I made this particular box, I did something else, a more refined project, and that is my phone right here is mounted to a shelf that I have right here. I'll switch back to the regular camera and I'll show you what that is. But for that, I actually drafted the project first, which I don't have the draft plans anymore. The whole point with this is to kind of get into crafting for as little money as possible. Which again, you can get into for less than $5. You can do everything that we're doing mostly for like under $5. I'll get into that in a couple episodes. Now, let's go back over to the camera and we can continue talking about everything. I think this project's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, let me show you the phone case or mount that I made. This is made entirely out of single corrugated and cardstock. I don't know if you can see it well. There we go, now you can see it. I think this thing looks pretty bad. Pretty bad. For a first project, it didn't turn out too bad. It does everything that I want it to. It just clips right onto the shelf here. It handles the phone just fine. It's fine. So, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you next time where we talk about 3D tiles and exactly what we're going to be doing. Bye.